Hi, I'm CJ Elmrig with Transwest Trek Trailer RV in Fredrick, Colorado. We've got a brand new 2026 Cimarron Norstar 3-horse gooseneck sitting behind me here. This is not a standard 3-horse by any means. This has got a lot of extras on it, so stick with us. We'll walk you through it and we'll show you all the cool features on this trailer. Before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing because I want to show you some specs. This trailer on the floor is 19.3, so very easy to maneuver trailer to get around. It's 7'4" tall and 7'6" wide, making it extra tall, extra wide. So if you need to just accommodate some bigger horses, this trailer's got that setup. You probably noticed on the drawing it's got a front tack and a closet tack. So that's a 5-foot short wall with a 4-foot offset on the long wall. But we'll show you that as we walk through. First thing I want you to notice, we'll just start at the top rail, we'll work down. So on the top nose here, you're gonna notice 3 marker lights. That was standard. About a year ago, that kind of went into place on these trailers to where we were kind of putting them on these loaded up trailers, some living quarters, some trainer trailers, a little bit more optioned up versions of some of these trailers. Now it's standard. You're gonna have the stainless nose on this guy, so it dresses it up. And then you're gonna notice this actually has that wraparound style nose. So when we get to the side of it, the profile, you'll notice it a little bit more, but I'll show you that to you. It's got an adjustable B&W coupler. This is rated for 25,000 pounds, more than we'll need for this type of a trailer setup here. But this has got a lot of flexibility for us to adjust this coupler to match what we need to the tow vehicle. So whatever your truck is, you know, we want bed clearance, we want this trailer running level. We've got a lot of flexibility with the lower profile handle and an extra hole drilled in there to give us that flexibility moving it within that stem on the actual gooseneck itself. Underneath, this is a very well optioned trailer. So one of the things we'll start with is an electric over hydraulic jack. So how nice is it to reach right up here and push a button and up and down this trailer goes. This does have the manual override, so in emergency situations we could pump this on or off the truck. With this being 7'6" wide, a little bit wider box, our spare tire is located left and low. If you're familiar with a lot of our inventory, when we get to the standard width trailers that are a little bit narrower than the extra wide, this spare tire is located up higher, and that's just because it's a larger footprint as far as this jack is concerned. So we need to elevate that spare to get it up out of the way because of the extra space that's needed. But what's fantastic is, again, in emergency situations, you can get this on or off, and it's so nice to be able to push a button rather than hand crank this. With it, you're gonna get your aluminum battery box. Nice big box. You're gonna see we have a 12-volt battery in there. There's room for additional, maybe throw some tools in there, whatever you need to, but you've got your 12-volt battery. And then over to the left is a battery disconnect. This trailer has a lot of lights that I'll show you. So in case something gets left on, it'll drain that battery down when we walk away from it. So when you park this trailer and walk away, reach up and just turn that to the off position. It'll kill all power, so we're not draining this battery down. The last thing you want to do is come to hook up and have a low battery or dead battery, and then you have to manual crank it up, which you at least have that option. Another piece you're going to get that became standard here recently is this RedArc charger. So this RedArc charger works, it does a couple different things for us. One, when we plug it into the truck, it will tell us if we have 12-volt power coming from the truck. Okay, that's key because we want to charge this battery. These batteries would always charge off your truck, but it's like a trickle charger, very slow. You know, we're not pulling the adequate amount of power we need from the truck based on the level of the battery as far as its charge. We don't want these batteries getting low, so let's keep them nice and charged up. This guy here works as a true 3-staging charger to this battery, but what we like to explain it as, it's like a supercharger for that battery. So it's going to pull power from that truck, trying to keep that that battery topped off or get it nice and topped off for us. That will give us so much more life and longevity by having it kept up at a nice charging level. Also, it'll keep from tripping back to the truck. So if we have a low battery and we hit this jack, it's a large power draw. A lot of times if it's low, not big power draw, it'll kick the fuse on the truck. Well, it's not going to allow that to feed back to the truck. So it does a lot of different things for us. We're really happy they put them on there. We don't run into near as many power issues in this type of a setup once that RedArc charger got standard with the hydraulic jack and battery package. that Cimarron includes. So we talked about that nose profile. So this is that wraparound style, just a sleeker, cleaner look. There's a couple trailers in the background here. Those are the VP style noses. So you don't get that larger, you know, lower rail that you're gonna get on this setup here that we're looking at. The other thing is, this is a 53-inch gooseneck drop wall. Standard is 50. We like to make ours 53 on these type of using trailers. Now we'll take it a case-by-case basis. You know, are there larger wheels and tires? Is it air ride? You know, what is the setup? But in this instance here, we made it 53. And the reasoning why is all the truck manufacturers have gotten taller bed profiles. So their beds are a lot taller, which one or two things happen. And if you look at some newer trucks with older trailers, these are the common things you see. Either the trailer's running level with minimal bed clearance, or the trailer's nosed up with a lot of bed clearance, but we're, you know, now putting a lot more weight on that rear axle. So in this instance here, that 53 really comes into play with that B&W coupler, making sure this trailer's running nice and level and bed clearance for you. We don't want to tear up a bed on a new truck. I'm not going to say it won't ever happen, but now we've drastically reduced those chances. The other thing with it being 7'4" tall and that 53-inch gooseneck drop, it doesn't change the inside height of that gooseneck on a standard setup. Now, this is where it gets pretty cool, because this here is the closet tack. So again, we have that front dressing room with a separate sealed off closet tack. So it's that side tack here that we're looking at. First thing you're gonna notice is this door. It's a 42-inch wide door, nice and big. It's gonna have a 4-tier blanket pull rack on a gas shock on that, carpet behind it, carpet behind everything in this entire tack. So it's gonna protect everything. But we can set blankets and pads there. You got a brush tray on the door. That's a great catch-all. You will have your fly sprays, your, you know, hoof picks, brushes, a little bit of everything gets thrown in that box, but they are dang handy to have. There's holes drilled in it too. So if, it was pretty funny the other night. One of the salespeople said, "Hey, yeah, when you leave your fly spray bottle in there and it freezes and it breaks that bottle, you know, eventually it'll start seeping out when it thaws out, and you can just easily wash that out." So definitely nice there. And then again, carpet on all the walls. So in this entire closet tack, everything is carpeted. You're gonna have recessed saddle post in here, so it's built in to the wall itself, but 3 saddle racks. These pads, these are adjustable. If you wanted to add more, you want to add more blanket bars, adjust some, you know, just spacing on them, you can. You've got a lot of flexibility right there to do that. And then again, you've got carpet, but you've got a set of bridle hooks up high, and then over here on this right hand, this forward, you know, partition wall, you're gonna have 2 sets of bridle hooks there. Those are aluminum powder coated, so they're really stout, great spacing, great height off of them, depth off the wall, so you can really stack a lot of stuff on there versus a lot of the older style little bridle hooks where everything would just be falling off. There's also tucked back here, it's kind of hidden, but there's a water tank back there. It's a 25-gallon gravity feed water tank. Comes with a hose, put a ball valve on the end of it. You can just fill water buckets up right out here at the actual floor, or, you know, at the ground level here. We don't have to pack buckets from who knows where at events. Having water on board, traveling in the summer months, it's nice to have. And then you'd still have quite a bit of floor room and space to throw some items down there. It's got that rubber mat down there. There is an LED light on the inside and a 2-way roof vent. So if we wanted to get, you know, some air circulation in here, because we have those, you know, sweaty pads and saddles and all that in there, if we want some air movement, because there's not an actual, you know, window on this door to get that air circulation, we actually have that capability to open that up. And the other thing is, you're going to get that fold up step. So it's really nice to be able to reach in there, you know, grab your saddles or take them out, and it's just on a gas shock. So it's really easy to flip up and down. This one here is white sheeted. That's standard. If silver metallic, charcoal metallic, black, new color caribou, those are popular. There's an upcharge for that versus the white. If you want to do some custom colors, you can. So in this instance here, we just went with white. We did a couple extra button lights on the top rail, And then you're going to notice a 16-inch awning light back here as well. So a lot of lights on this trailer that we'll show you throughout, but that one shoots down and out for you. So as your horses are tied up right here, you have that light coverage. Okay, drop windows on tail side on this guy, not just bus windows. You have bus windows within those drops, but in this instance here, you want a lot of airflow. You have it by this drop down setup on tail side of this. We have two 6,000-pound Dexter rubber torsion axles. These are going to have electric brakes, a 16-inch aluminum spoked wheel, that's standard, and 10-ply Goodyear tires on this. You're also going to have a 1-year no questions asked warranty on these tires through that vendor that Cimarron uses for their wheels and tires. So you'll go through them for the warranty side of it, but if you have a blowout, you catch road debris, you catch a nail or a screw that punctures the sidewall and it can't be patched, from the date you purchased it, you're covered for 1 year, no questions asked. On the trailer side, you have an 8-year structure warranty and a 3-year hardware warranty. So they really stand behind the product. Okay, as we get to the back here, you're gonna notice large door. This is 7.6 wide. You're gonna notice this partial wall over here to the left. I'll show you when we get to the driver's side of this. But in this instance here, we have the large door, rubber mat on it, big bus window on that back. So we can open that up, create airflow, create that vacuum, and really move air throughout the trailer. You're gonna have an 8-inch awning light on the top rail there. And then if you pay attention to the rear marker lights, you're gonna see a white X that's built into those. That is a built-in backup, so a reverse light. So when you throw your tow vehicle in reverse, those guys are actually gonna turn on. So you have, again, a lot of light coverage. You'll get into home late at night, you'll get into unfamiliar places where it's dark, you can't see. It's nice to have that lighting, you've got it. If your horse prefers a rear ramp load, that rubber bumper could be removed and we could do a ramp over. So there's always items after the fact that we can add to these trailers to make it exactly how you want. Maybe it's a ramp, maybe it's a hay rack, those type of things, a camera system. You want to add more hooks, we can do those type of items. So just because we have a trailer sitting here doesn't mean we can't tweak a couple things and make it exactly how you want it as far as the setup goes itself. As we get into the stall area, on the floor, you're going to notice rubber mats are standard. We upgraded to Werm flooring on this. This is a very well-equipped trailer, so we wanted to go ahead and add that Werm flooring. It's a permanent, unpenetrable mat. You don't have to pull mats out ever again and wash this flooring out. It's really easy to maintain and use. So, solid dividers with pads. So we made this back stall a little bit longer to make sure this solid divider would shut inside the rear door when it's over against the wall. Stud divider at stall 1, pads on it. So if we need to use this for additional storage or we need to separate somebody, you've got that capability there, but the pads are on there. And you notice that these are wanting to pull towards driver's sides because there's a spring. On the partial divider, there's a spring on the lower side that's going to pull it to the other side. And we were doing this on our stud dividers. We were doing a double spring. So spring up high, spring down low. So it wants to pull these dividers out of the way so you don't have to hold them open. This trailer's tipped towards passenger side and you can see it's still wanting to pull it that direction. One-handed operation. Lead a horse, open a divider. I don't have to hold the divider open, trying to get somebody loaded, unloaded. We want these guys out of the way, and Cimarron made that standard here pretty recently, so happy with that. You got kick mats all the way around, right? So we got kick mats throughout the entire stall area, hip wall, partition wall, and against the mangers that I'll show you here in a second. But I want you to notice that everything's, you know, flush. So we have recessed paddle latches for these dividers. It's a cast aluminum piece that's powder coated and every point has a radius to it, so it's nice and smooth. And then a heavy UHMW plastic paddle latch, so when we shut these dividers, it's not metal to metal contact creating rattle. Even the wheel well on the inside, it's tapered. Tapered on the end, tapered up. So again, none of those real sharp 90-degree angles. Everything you put your hands on too, everything has a radius, which is fantastic. Horse safety is first and foremost. 2 LED lights in here. Those are those OptiBright lights, so what we used in the other tack rooms. But boy, does this put out a lot of lighting. Not a big power draw on those. 2-way roof vents Got 3 of them, 1 at each stall, so we can manipulate airflow. You can create a lot of airflow throughout this trailer with these drop windows, the bus window at the back, and then the drops I'll show you when we get to the head side. But then also you're going to get an insulated roof. That's standard on all these Cimarrons. So everything we showed you in the background, every one of them has this. It's a 1/2 inch thick reinforced honeycomb design. It'll take 150 pounds per square foot. So I can walk on this roof and I won't dent it. The other thing, and what I really like about it, I mean, that's a great aspect because it's going to take substantial hail and protect your investment, but it keeps the stall area 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. It makes a massive difference in the summer and the heat, just stall temperature, because of that roof. And then when you flip to the bottom side, yes, I showed you the Werm flooring, but what's underneath is the industry's best floor, okay? It's a 12-inch extruded deck piece that locks in high and low, tongue and groove, 4-inch centers. So those centers run across the trailer. Wherever you have a horse standing on a Cimarron floor, they're standing on 1, if not 2 support beams. So it's the best floor in the industry. Really stout, really strong. It's going to hold up. Great foundation. That's what you want to start with and then build up from there. And then we do have the mangers up there as well. I'll show you the outside. You're going to get some manger storage. And then you saw the wall from the outside on the back there, but you'll see the wall in here. And we'll tuck around to the other side of this trailer here in a second, the driver's side, and we'll show you what we got. The last piece in here is going to be a butt strap that goes across. We prefer the strap in these larger openings rather than, you know, a big piece of aluminum where if a horse hits it, you know, it can go flying. The strap's a little bit more, you know, just a little bit safer for everybody in that instance. So when we get around to this side of the trailer, we've got this closet tack. So this is a great place for just extra items, you know, whether it's larger buckets, you want to put some feed in there, you can hang some items. There's a set of hooks in there with carpet behind them. There's an LED light on the inside of that guy as well. But in this instance here, just more storage. So this trailer's got a lot of it. Here's our drop down feed windows. Massive, massive windows. Look at the framing. That is all framework around the actual window itself in that drop down feed door. So they're really stout, really strong. You have big openings to create airflow. Drop down jail bars, we can get them out of the way if we wanted to offer more feed, water, anything like that. Bus window within it, so if we wanted to restrict air a little bit more and just utilize that, you've got that flexibility. Everything is key to like. So these drop down feed doors, broom closet, tacks, mangers, everything has one key that works for everything. And then you have your manger storage. So we've got storage here. We did a gray rubber back behind to protect it, and then we did a couple sets of bridle hooks in here. There is also lights on the inside, LEDs in here. That way we can actually operate these guys. They're actually on the actual light when you turn them on. And one of the last things in that back manger there's a tube that goes down, and that's a drain for the mangers. So we can, when we're putting water up there and we need to just kind of drain all that stuff out, it'll go right out the bottom of the trailer itself. On stall number 1, you've got an access door, chest bar that goes across. So again, maybe you're just utilizing this for extra storage. It's great because the stud divider won't let things, you know, shift underneath horses as you're traveling. But you can access it right here. It still has the drop down feed door, a little bit smaller just because we have to work within the framework of the door itself. But everything has welded hinges with grease zerks. So that's really important to maintain this trailer. You know, you start getting a squeaky hinge, something a little bit stiff, you can actually put grease to it. Where a welded hinge, you got to heat it up and then try to get it to take some type of lubricant. I see it time and time again on these like vertical, on other manufacturers with a welded hinge. They'll actually drill holes up top to try to get some lubricant down into them. But with these, they've got the grease zerks on either end that you can put grease to it. And then there's this brass that looks like a ring there right in the middle. but that's attached to a rod that goes the full length of this, and it's got a groove cut into it. A picture a candy cane, so that swirl goes all the way around. So when we put grease to it, when we open and close this, it's wanting to feed that grease throughout that entire, you know, hinge itself. 16-inch awning light right above that access door there. So again, shoots down and out, so a lot of light coverage. And then we've got our front dressing room. So we have that closet tack. That's what's on the back side of this wall right here. Okay, so it's completely sealed off. It's kind of an L-shaped setup. On this back partition wall, we've got carpet with a set of hooks for you. Behind me is going to be an 18-inch deep shelf with a 2-inch lip, so we can throw items up there. We don't have to worry about things shifting. Clothes bar as well, so we're not taking up the back seat of our vehicle with like garment bags and hanging clothes. If you're showing off of this, you know, you have a clean front dressing room because this is sealed off from our tack itself. You can come in here, change into a show shirt and go. You can spend the night in here if you want. You've got this nice big deck up here on the gooseneck drop wall, and then the deck itself, it's got carpet, but you have windows in either side so you can see out, create a little cross breeze for you. But this is got a ton of space. These Cimarron noses are 8'2" long, so they're nice and deep, and obviously we have a wider box with it being 7'6" as far as the width of the trailer goes. So mattress, bed rolls, sleeping bags, you've got that, you know, flexibility to throw those up there. LED light up there in the nose. We like to, on our inventory, we like to put that. Typically one is standard over the front or you know, tack door itself, which there is one, but we like to add that one in the gooseneck, so you just have a lot of light. And then there's an extra clothes bar up above. Maybe you're traveling, you know, long distances, long trips, you need to take a lot of stuff, you've got that. And then on the gooseneck drop wall, we have an 18-inch boot box. I like the 18 inches versus the 12 inches because your larger buckets will set in here where your 12 inches, because of how they have to frame it, they just won't drop in there. But this is a great bench for you if you're hanging out. Obviously storage, and if you need to hop up into the gooseneck area, it works as a good step there. And then this is that gray rubber flooring that we did on this floor in this front tack room, just so it holds up really well. You know, versus rubber, it still has the ability to get dirt underneath it to where this is cut to fit, and then it's sealed on the edges. So this stuff is glued down and it holds up extremely well. You're also gonna have the fold-up step going into it, just making it so nice and easy to actually hop into that front tack room there. So again, this is not just your standard 3-horse. This has got a lot of extras, a lot of nice features to it that you're gonna really enjoy. So I'm gonna give you the stock number on it for reference. It is a 2026 Cimarron Norstar 3-horse gooseneck with closet tack. Stock number is 5N250258. If you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you there with trades. Financing is available and delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring this to your doorstep. So give us a call. Anybody in the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.